No, that really is that's big. Describing it as a park doesn't really give it the full flavor of what you expect to see.
Right.
So, any interesting like long-term stays anywhere else for you, Mark?
No, born and raised, grew up on Long Island, still reside there. Traveled into the city for work, but outside of that, no place else. I traveled a lot, vacation spots and what have you, but nowhere else that I've lived.
Where else would you want to go? I was at I call it the MetLife Stadium because I'm a Jets fan.
Yeah.
Other people might want to call it the Giants Stadium. That's up to them. But I went to the MetLife Stadium this weekend for SummerSlam. And if anyone doesn't know SummerSlam, it's a hip hop concert. Let's put this in the nicest possible way. I represented my social demographic well in the 60,000 people. People were actually quite scared of me because I think they reached a conclusion of what is this crazy, middle-aged white dude doing here. So they decided that must be something special. Who's here?
Oh, we're taking it live. Are we start? Oh.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go! Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for?
Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the Unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all of these people's lives over the course of time. And I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear from Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula for formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes.
Do you think that worked?
I love it.
No, I'm gonna bow out. I heard on the grapevine we had some amazing, interesting people here. I wanted to drop in and say hello because I had 5 minutes free. You're here. It's your show, guys. He's a poor substitute. I've got to be honest. When I've left, you'll wish I was still here. But Sean, over to you.
This is true. I don't have a British accent. I don't have 180 IQ like you do, Peter Swain. But I will do my best to hold things down. So thank you.
John, I will stay at
by the way,
your
Peter,
feet and let everything.
Do you actually have 180 IQ?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
This is it.
Wow.
And by the way, I know what that means. Like Mensa begins at, I think, 130. Yeah, and Peter's 180. Absolutely unbelievable. So thank you, Peter. Amazing. Go hear about the Emmy Award-winning show that we're creating with Marie and Chad. You'll be quite meaningfully excited. So thank you for that.
I'll see that and up it. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. Enjoy your show.
Thank you. Gina.
Hi, Peter.
Yes. So thank you guys for your patience. We had a couple of disruptions today. Appreciate you guys enormously. And thank you so much for being here on this Why Wednesday. I don't want to have to repeat introductions if we've been through them. Have we, Gina?
We went through the participants, Sean.
Yeah. So let's get to the.
Yeah, but we can do it. You got it. So next we have first judge, I should say, Ian Peters. He does a lot of incredible things, Sean. He's high-level video production artist, high-end real estate broker, superior connector. He is a hockey nut, running leagues, events, refereeing, playing all positions. He's brings people together. Welcome, Ian Peters, to the Real Raw.
So Ian, what's with the love for hockey?
I'm from Toronto, in Canada. So it's in my blood.
Outstanding. So when we talk about the 1980 Miracle on Ice team of the United States winning, some of my dear Canadian friends kind of like cringe a little bit and say, well, you guys won like one time. What say you about the 1980 Miracle on Ice from Toronto?
You guys hang on to that one time like it was every time. That's all I'm going to say. So you can hang on to that. We know about the rest.
I love it, Ian. I love it. That's what all our dear friends in Canada always share. What's your fun fact, my friend?
Fun fact. Oh wow. I'm a super connector. I like that. That's my fun fact. Other than loving hockey, I love what I do, video production. That's another fun fact. And I self-taught in what I do. I'm self-taught in what I do. 20 years experience. Worked for Major League Baseball, traveled the world shooting video, worked for Bob Marley's family. I've worked for some great people that I thought I would have had to have either gone to school to learn what I do or, had more formal training. Thank you. I'm proud of that.
I'm a Columbia University Ivy League graduate who graduated with honors from law school. And I say all the time that those taught me about 1% of what I need to know in the world. So self-taught is the way. Our traditional educational models, I think, are madly and insanely broken. So congratulations on being self-taught and making magic happen and impact. And it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Nice to
Gina, nice to meet you.
Next up, we have Harry Shurek, originally from New York, now in Atlanta. Harry's in a world of disrupting, Sean. And what I mean by that, disrupting industries like cannabis, crypto, a seasoned accounting professional, building his own business inside of this space and others. He's also blockchain mining and sourcing aficionado as well. Welcome to the party, Harry Shurek.
Hello, Harry.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, what's your fun fact?
I was trying to think of a fun fact. I don't know. I've got an interesting background. I've got a unique fact. When I was 18, I was part of a bank robbery as part of my job. Most people can't talk about that too often.
Harry, Harry, that is a top 5 instant best fun fact of all time in the Real Raw. There's been more than 3,000 people who've been on, and you start with, I don't know if I really have a fun fact. I was involved in a bank robbery at 18. Ooh, you're a rock star. Did you rob the bank? Rob the getaway car? Like, what happened?
I didn't rob the bank. Actually, I have kind of 2 stories. I have one. I actually did get robbed one time. I was 18 and I was working back and forth in a bank. I was working through the teller desk and the drive-through, and some guy came in and handed me a note, and I saved the note, and the police had to come, and the police came, the FBI came, vice president of the bank came. We had to get fingerprinted. Back then I was a smoker. They were like, what can we get you? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go outside and have a cigarette. And they're like, no, you got to stay in the bank here right now. I'm like, I think I'm going to go outside right now because I'm 18 years old. I just got robbed in a bank. And they're like, you can stay inside and hang out in here and do what you want to do until the FBI gets here. And so I got robbed in a bank at 18. The funny thing was I got fingerprinted 2 weeks before because I just got rehired as a teller. So while they were re-fingerprinting me to take my fingerprints off the note, I already knew how to do the fingerprinting roll. They're like, oh, you're really familiar with this. So I'm like, I just did it 2 weeks ago. And then, so I got robbed at the bank. And then I actually worked with somebody who I went to school with. And I was telling him, I was like, they kind of teach us how to rob the bank where we work. They tell us to do this, 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 and this. And I swear to you, 2 months later, this guy set up his own robbery. So 2 bank robbery stories actually in the same bank. How about that? So
2 bank robbery stories.
Interesting, right? I know it's unique. I thought I'd be unique.
Wow.
I'm sure all the accountants talk about taxes and stuff like that. I figured I'd be unique. Since I'm a crypto cannabis accountant, I do things that I have
crypto cannabis accountants. That's amazing. We're missing Bella Rita today. She would be your best friend with crypto and cannabis together. Here's my fun fact. I've invested meaningfully in crypto, but I don't even know what the hell crypto mining means. But that's a story for a different day. So Harry, thank you very much for being here.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. G Money, who we got?
Last but not least, Sean Callaghy is Mr. Jack Grella from Stamford, Connecticut, seasoned wealth strategist. Jack specializes in tax reduction and in addition to that, focuses on real estate investments and land development. He's a rock star. Welcome to the multiverse, Jack.
Jack, how are you from the impoverished Stamford, Connecticut? Like, are you making ends meet, my friend?
I just got back here at midnight, actually. I've been spending the month in Colorado. Had to get away from the heat.
Nice. Where were you in Colorado?
Oh, went all over the state, really convincing my girlfriend to move there. Breckenridge, Vail, Steamboat, and home base of Denver.
Amazing. Biking, mountain hiking. Like, what are you doing there in the summer?
Yeah, I've got the cuts and the scrapes from mountain biking, definitely. But the family was there too, so we had to keep it PG on the hikes.
All right. Very, very cool. And how about your fun fact? Besides the fact that you are traveling to all the most exotic resorts in the great state of Colorado, what's your fun fact?
Appreciate it, Harry. That was a really tough one to follow up. So I don't know if this sounds boring, but I just taught myself the ukulele over the last couple of weeks. After I heard this
These
song.
are super cool people. Nicole, keep us that fun and magic. Would you not want to play the ukulele?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, Nicole is hell is yes. The ukulele. Like, that's what's happening here. So we got Ian, Harry, Jack. And may I share a fun fact? So my aunt's boyfriend, since we're on the level of bank robbery, my aunt's boyfriend, Vinny Malfitano, and I'm not revealing anything negative that's not already publicly known. They were sunning on the Jersey Shore circa 1968, 69. And all of a sudden, Vinny's like, yeah, I'm going to go get a pack of cigarettes. And he comes running back to the house with a ski mask, no shirt, and a bathing suit, and with a bag of money saying, hide the money, right? And all of a sudden, the police are knocking at the door, and they're like, dude, you're an idiot. Yes, exactly. They're like, dude, you're an idiot. You wore a ski mask running through the streets of the Jersey Shore in the middle of the summer. And he was in the Daily News the next day with a cartoon of him as a bank robber a gas station robber who was silly enough to wear a ski mask the whole way. So thank you, Harry, for accessing your bank robbery stories. It reminded me of the one and only Vinny Malfitano.
It's awesome.
Wow.
Yes. But thankfully, my aunt did not marry. Yes. So Gina, we have Ian. Harry, just quickly, who are participants?
Yeah. So our participants are Job Alakango and Mark Lenski.
Job and Mark, welcome.
Mark and Job.
Courage of being in these seats. Mark, would you mind sharing your fun fact? If you're repeating it, my apologies. But
I didn't get to do it yet, so I'm happy to. So I was once swindled by a senior citizen, right? Normally you hear the reverse. Senior citizens are being swindled, but to keep it brief, I met with somebody that said they needed a new accountant. They were a horse trainer. And they had a horse that could not lose, if you will. And they asked me to put some money on the horse. So I gave him $40 reluctantly, but I felt really good about it. And the gentleman disappeared on me. And not only did the horse not race, the last time the horse won a race was 1971. So he got my $40. I never got the business, but it's a story that I love to tell and get a good laugh at.
Mark being hustled and swindled by old age folk. Congratulations on that. And thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And Job, welcome. Thank you for being here. And how about your fun fact, please?
Thank you, Sean. My fun fact is I did not know what a blind spot was till I was actually taking a road test. I'd learned driving in Mumbai, and then I come to the US as a grad student. I wanted a driving license. I set up a road test. I was in the car with the examiner. And the examiner was like, you're not going to look over your shoulder? I'm like, what? For a blind spot? What blind spot? What are you talking about? I had no clue what a blind spot was. I just, suffice to say, I got the driving license, the lowest score possible. I went over, I went over a railroad track. I did not look on both sides. And the examiner, now looking back so many years later, I'm just wondering if I were the examiner, I would have stopped the test halfway and I would have exited the car. But she stayed on till the very end. So.
Well, and in Unblinded, we do say that people don't see what they don't see. So you're in the right department. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm actually blind. So I am fully familiar with blind spots. But yes, Job, I would not have been comfortable with you in the car, nor would be comfortable with me driving a car. But welcome to the Real Raw. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
Appreciate it. So G Money, who's going first?
All right, Sean. I see Jack Krella ready to rock. Oh no, Jack, sorry, you're a judge. Sorry. Job, how about you, sir? Let's rock it. You ready to go?
So Job, this is how we do this. So we had a little bit of fun making introductions, but there's something really serious at play here. And what's serious is that the superpower of influence, what to do with it and how to get ourselves to use it, I truly believe is the only attainable superpower for people. And there's a lot of hyperbole in the world, but when we say superpower, I really think that Oprah Winfrey being 1 million times or 100 million times more influential than the average person is in fact a superpower, because I think that's even bigger than the difference between, let's say, the Hulk of Marvel fame and the ordinary human being in strain. So I think the exponentiality of influence cannot be overstated. Oprah waves her hand and makes a bestseller, or creates a person into a doctor like Dr. Phil, who's not even a doctor and is worth $300 million. So Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and God forbid, Hitler, these are people that have the superpower of influence. We're talking about here, those integrous influence, not pitching, hooking, closing, oppressing, dominating, but how do we authentically connect, reveal truth, and move forward? Because that's what's affecting right now our money, time, and magic, because it affects our marketing, our selling, our managing, our leading, our recruiting, our fundraising for and not for profit. So we're playing that game, and the simple introduction we have here on the Real Raw, because we are turning influence into a fun, magical, integrous, competitive sport, as more than 3,000 people like yourselves have been here before. Gina will be anybody you want her to be, Job. She could be an ideal client. I don't know, could be for a book deal, could be for charity, whatever would be a yes you're seeking. So Job, who would you like Gina to be?
Thank you, Sean. So I want Gina to be a credit officer in my bank who has the authority to approve a loan for one of my potential clients.
Ooh, I love this. Gina, you're a loan officer. Let's go, loan officer Gina. You have authority. Gina likes bossing people around. So Gina, take us in.
All right, let's go. Ready, Joe?
Gina, thanks for taking my call. I know you're swamped. Do you have a few minutes for a quick chat?
Yeah, I have just a few minutes.
Okay.
What's happening?
I'm not sure, Gina, if you recall, but early last year, we were targeting a prospect client in Latin America. But if I recall correctly, you had some concerns regarding the potential impact of the pandemic in that region. And I just wanted to check with you if some of those concerns related to lockdowns and the impact of the pandemic, have they reduced?
Have been reduced?
Have they, have those concerns of yours, have they reduced since last year?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Just a little bit. It's, there's still obviously big concerns. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Gina, the thing is, with the vaccine rollout, governments, as you've realized that governments are more comfortable with easing restrictions and global demand is picking up. In fact, my client is going to perform very well this year. They've had a fantastic 2020 as well. Do you think we could schedule a 30-minute call for later this week to just review the recent developments with clients and see if there's any chance that we can look at doing some new business with them?
Yes, and I just want to say it's a little difficult to hear you, so if you could just move closer. I don't know if it's me, but yes, I'm. What exactly? So what do you want to exactly go over on that call?
Yeah, so I want to see, discuss with you how they have handled the pandemic, how they have, increased their profitability, how they have decreased leverage, and how it will make sense for us to actually go in and do business with this client, and how we can, be, with them, maintain a relationship for the long haul.
Okay, I do have a lot of people calling me about this. What makes you different?
Well, this client is, has been on our target list for some time. It's if we are able to bring this client into our bank, in terms of revenue, there can be a significant impact to our bank. And it's also, a very, it's a household name in that part of the world. So it will also, improve our own, reputation and our visibility in that region. So right now, people know us in New York, but if you want to increase visibility in Latin America, I think this is a client that we must, try to get into our books.
So what you're saying is we should definitely consider this client, and you're looking for a longer meeting about this client.
Right, just so that I can go over the
Potential.
details of the financials, how they performed. I know last year you had a lot of concerns, and we did not go beyond. We ended the conversation really at the let's wait and watch, and let's see next year what happens. So
Yeah, listen, Gina, I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry, Gina. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's somebody who says they know Harry, and they're robbing the bank. So could you please take the call?
Is it my Uncle Vinny? Yes.
Yes,
I
your
better
Uncle
take the
Vinny
call.
is here. Right, thank you very much. All right, so Joe, excellent job. We'll see what the judges have to say in a minute. Mark, who would you like Gina to be?
Yeah, thanks. I'd like her to be a CFO of a tech startup that's going to be going for their first Series A funding.
Ooh, Gina, your Series A funding, tech startup CEO. Take us in.
Okay, ready to rock, Mark.
All right. Hi, Gina. Thanks so much for taking the time and meeting with me today. I realize that you're busy and I don't want to take up a lot of your time. So I know that you're going to be going for a series funding soon. And I just thought that I'd like to tell you what Aprio potentially could bring to the table for you in 3 easy steps. Okay. So first thing that we would do if we were able to come in board is go through your books in detail, do a deep dive and make sure everything's up to date where they need to be, right? You don't want to go out to investors and give them a poor product. You want to make sure that you're handing them over our financial statement with confidence that when they ask you questions, you can give them answers, and we're going to help you deliver that. Okay, now once the financials are done, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to help introduce you to venture capitalists, angel investors, right? People that we've worked with on other companies that may be able to help you reach your funding goals. So take the guessing work out of it. Doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect fit, but if we think there's some mutual synergy there, we're going to be happy to go out there and bring that to your attention. And you never know, it could help. And if not, at least you'll learn from them and they can give you some of the pitfalls that you might get to when you're going out for funding. And finally, the thing that we're going to look at for you is a research and development credit. Okay, a lot of tech startup companies have the potential to take this credit, and it could be a lot of money back in the pocket of the business. We go through, we do a deep dive and make sure that you qualify for it. And if you do, again, lots of money on the table for you. So if any or all of those sound interesting to you, I'd love to set up a follow-up call to see if we could discuss this further.
Let me ask you something, Mark. What is it that makes you want to work with us?
We love working with startups. It's the best way to get in, right? So the best thing a startup could have is a strong attorney and a strong CPA firm backing them, right? Do things right from the get-go. You don't want to get 3 to 4 years down the road and find out things are done wrong. And we find that startups appreciate our help the most, right? As I mentioned before, we love helping people. So we look to get in on the ground floor. We want to grow with you, right? We're cost efficient. We want to make sure that we're not just charging with fees over fees just to make money off of you. You want to make sure that you're successful, right? The more successful that the company is going to be, we can help grow, and obviously the more successful we can be as well.
Yeah, that's true. How much time do we need? How much time do you need to go over this? I'm like, it's crazy with us being a startup.
Yep. So I'd love to set up an hour call to go through it in detail. We could go through the financials and do a little deep dive right then and there as we're going through it and see what we see, and then formulate a plan on how long it's going to take for us to get all this up and running. Depending on the level of the financials, it could take a couple of days, it could take a month, but we want to go through it in detail with you to see what's going to really be needed.
Okay, and real quick, last 10 seconds, like what do you think is unique that would stand out for you as opposed to the other people that approached me?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a very big technology background, and so we work with a lot of tech startup companies, and we think we have what it takes to help you.
Okay. Sounds good. We shall set up that call. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent job. Mark, how'd that feel for you?
That was great. I love it.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so let's see what the judges have to say. So Ian, we do 30 seconds of feedback, 15 seconds what worked, 15 seconds what could be optimized. And let's start out with Joe. And a score and a scale.
Hold on a second. I'm judging Gina or judging our participant?
No, judging the participant. So first we're going to start with Joe. Yep, 30 seconds, and then a score on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, just start?
So, yeah, for Job. Yes, please.
Job was great. He reacted well to everything she said, despite her being improv, which was amazing. If I could judge that, that was amazing. Job, it was great. It was very reactive, very responsive. Score-wise, if I'm ready to give that now, I'd say about a 7.5, 8.
Nice. And what'd you have for Mark?
Mark, same thing. Responsive, on the ball. Again, reacting to someone who's doing improv. This is amazing. And a 7.5, 8 as well.
Nice. Appreciate that. So let's go Harry. Harry, what'd you have for Job?
Honestly, what I had was really my one thing that stuck out was he asked a yes or no question to get that phone call. And that's almost a no-no in sales that I was always taught, that instead of saying, is there, I don't know, it was, said, yeah, would it be, would you be interested in a call? Stronger than that would be something like, when is the most convenient time for us to schedule a call to discuss, this situation further? What works for your schedule? What works for your schedule? 11 a.m. Tuesday? Because at that point, you're just kind of throwing it in. They're going to kind of pick up some kind of a time, as opposed to saying, you give them a yes or no, and that's just a way to kind of get people to tell you to go away, is what I found in sales. The good was that he had a lot of information on his company, and he was very knowledgeable of the company and how the strengths that they could bring to her company or the
And
deal.
your scores, Harry?
I don't know scores. I don't know, 8, 7, 8, right in there.
Nice. And how about
from Mark? Yeah, on his, what did I have? I had thought he did a great job explaining the services he would bring to the table. Did a great job really putting it in the way that it would be beneficial for the client to do business with them, and what he could help them, and why he could help them grow, and why they want his company, not only in the accounting and financial side, but also that he brought up the capital side and capital raising, which is a big part for startups, and saying that he can help them get set up to do that capital raise and capital allocation side. The other side I would say is asking for an hour. Specifically, she asked for how an hour. I'd say, let's just start with what, we'll do a quick review, send me over some stuff. It's how I kind of do that sometimes. And giving them an hour.
Harry?
My score would be, I liked it. I thought it was an 8, 9. I thought it was strong. As an accountant, I thought that was a good sales pitch for an accountant. I really did. So,
nice. Thank you, Harry.
Yeah, I was impressed with that. Yeah.
Cool. Jack, what'd you have for Job, please?
Job, you brought an expert to the table and you were working on behalf of your client with a loan officer. I don't think I've ever seen that before. You also mentioned a long-term relationship with the banker, which is huge, and you hammered home next steps. That's good. But not being a CPA, I had a difficult time understanding the situation. So for that, I will give you 7.5.
Nice. And how about for Mark?
And Mark, I liked how you explained exactly what you do. You're obviously an expert in that field, and I would use you. You started with the what and the how, and that's a good thing, but it's a bad thing at the same time, because you started with telling about what you do, instead of making a personal connection and figuring out the why and why she should use you. So I will give you an 8.
All right, excellent. Jack, thank you. Harry, Ian, excellent work. Joe, Mark, thank you for your courage, vulnerability, and making things happen. And at this stage of the Real Raw, we typically have a little bit more fun, and we put me on the hot seat to have a conversation and have to go from hello to yes. I've had the unique privilege of stepping in the space of being President Biden, President Trump, selling lemonade on our front lawn, having to get the last ticket that was just purchased for an airline, a crowded airport with delays, and have to have somebody go from hello to yes with me, a yes, to give me their ticket, and all sorts of fun things, including actually last week, somebody had me as Axel, who was actually Axl Rose's manager, that had Axel in his stage fright in front of 80,000 people in Colombia, not wanting to go on stage, a regular occurrence. and he was going to be Axel, and I had to go from Melodious with Axel to actually go on stage. So it could be, ordinary lawyer, accountant, financial services. It could be any of those exotic things, but it's time to put me on the spot. And Gina Ricci, who do you think should put me on the spot?
I think Jack Grella. What do you say?
I had a feeling. Jack, you want to put me on the spot and set the scenario?
I'm just internally deciding between two situations right now.
Okay.
We've got a bunch of.
One quick thought though, it's got to be integrous, right? So it can't be like selling swampland in the middle of Manhattan. Like, so as long as it's integrous, it could be as crazy as possible, as long as the yes would actually make sense for the other person.
All right, let me know.
No
how this
getting you
sounds.
to say yes to a bank robbery.
Yeah,
sorry.
So we got a bunch of CPAs here. So let's put an accounting situation on the books, right?
Yeah.
You've got a client that just made $200 million, and they're thinking about tax evasion. They want to move to Puerto Rico because that's what their brother-in-law is doing. And you are the CPA that is trying to convince the client that they shouldn't move to Puerto Rico because they are facing jail time and possibly huge fines.
Got it. Okay. So would you like to be that client and I'll be the CPA?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So, hey, Jack, my name is Sean, and thanks for giving me 3 minutes. I know you're talking to so many extraordinary people in the space, and I'm pretty clear from the conversations you've had with my associates on what's happening. But again, thanks for being here.
Yeah, anytime. I hate taxes.
Yeah, me too, brother. Me too. And I'm a huge fan of the movie The Firm with Tom Cruise, if you ever saw it. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it was this actual law firm that was taken over by the mob, and they were doing money laundering to make sure they paid no taxes. It didn't end well, but it was an incredibly compelling movie. You should check it out sometime, because those were people who also hated paying taxes enormously. All right, so I want to congratulate you, though, on having the extraordinary success and outcome of a $200 million exit. I am present to math. In the space of math, I'm pretty confident that makes you a 0.0001%er as the number of people who ever get to a $200 million exit. So congratulations. How does that feel?
It's great. All I had to do was sell a little bit of face masks for COVID.
Yeah, unbelievable, dude. Well, your entrepreneurial vision, it's as simple as that for you, but for most people to put together all of those pieces would have been impossible. So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So here's the challenging and fun part. Can I share a little bit about myself?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I do is I help people make decisions, and I am, with humility, phenomenal at what I do. I'm not great at everything. I'm bad at a lot of things, but understanding how precisely far we can push the tax code, how creative and innovative we can become, is my expertise. It's why I've worked with Hollywood celebrities, top athletes across the country. I've worked with people internationally and domestically, including fine folks like yourself who've exited their companies, brilliant entrepreneurs. And this conversation, Jack, is compelling, it's interesting, and you're amazing. And in another way, it's literally boring for me, because I know what this feels like and sounds like. So I want to be direct, authentic, empathetic, and honest with you. There's things that we can do to minimize your tax liability to the greatest extent possible. If you follow through and move to Puerto Rico, I will tell you what I've told dozens of clients who haven't listened to me. You are rolling the dice on your freedom. You did all these incredible things to get to a place of having $200 million, and the government is going to take some. But and your risk factor in going to prison is probably less than 50%, probably, but is an authentic and legitimate risk factor. And I got to imagine, Jack, that you're phenomenal with numbers since you built a company with a $200 million exit. Do the math. Is it worth, even if it's a 20% chance or even a 10% chance of losing everything, to not pay some level of taxes on this money with the greatest deferment mechanisms and other processes that we put in place, I guarantee you, and talk to 10 more accountants, you're not going to get a better plan than we have. Maybe one will equal it, but you're not going to beat it. If you move to Puerto Rico, I honor you. You're an entrepreneur. You stand for freedom and creation, but that decision exposes you, I think, to something that would be so catastrophic. It's beyond comprehension. Final point. So many entrepreneurs I've met and successful people believe they can keep driving their success and almost become above dynamics that can bring them down. And brother, it just isn't true. And really successful, really smart people wear orange jumpsuits. And even if it's on a farm, I know a lot of clients and people who've been on that farm. It is miserable, scary, horrific, and awful. So I know you're not going to make a final decision now, but if you'd like to have a 30 to 60-minute conversation and sit down, I can unpack a lot of it. I have complete empathy, total respect. Brother, I have no fear, but I do live in the space of truth. And the truth is that I think it would be insane to move to Puerto Rico, and I love to talk more about it. So how does that resonate for you, sir?
Well, let's look at it in this light. You're an expert, the best in your field. I'm hoping the best you can do is limit my tax liability to $40 to $50 million on 200. That's a huge ask, but maybe you can do it.
Yeah. And how about this? I will propose that if you come back, I will create a plan by the time you come back that we'll go over. That will be the best number. I understand that's what you want to shoot at, but I will also promise you this. If you bring back any plan that cuts your taxes by more than I do, I will pay for that person or tell you they're lying. How's that sound?
What if I get rid of the taxes completely and spend $20 million on lawyers only instead of paying $40 million in taxes?
Brother, because I've been down that road. I know doctors, I know professional athletes. I know so many people that have gone down that road. And the likelihood of you moving to Puerto Rico at this point, with the way the tax prosecutions are going, my assessment is you could spend $50 million on lawyers. If you move to Puerto Rico and avoid these taxes under these circumstances, and I would happily have a criminal lawyer come in, and you could bring 10 criminal lawyers into my office, not one of them is going to tell you anything different than what I'm saying. And they're going to tell you, we can't keep you out of prison. So I offer you that. I'd be happy to unpack it more. I do have to pause right now, but I really appreciate your time, Jack. Thank you.
Set up the next call.
Awesome. Out of roll. All right, Jack, how do we do?
I like it a lot. It's almost an impossible situation for a CPA, but you did a great job. You talked personally instead of professionally at one point.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Let's go with Jack. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, that's me.
I'm sorry. Harry, how did that feel for you?
Honestly, that was pretty good. That was a good explanation. I think you did enough scaring as well as being his friend to keep him off the ledge. I think you did good not to promise an actual number at the end, obviously, because that's everybody wants that number. And to say, yeah, I'll get you the best number I can get you, but disappearing is not going to be in your best interest. I thought that was good. Honestly, that was a really good response. I really enjoyed it, actually. That was a good. I've definitely dealt with clients in similar situations with similar conversations, things like that. I've totally had I've had so many Puerto Rico conversations. It's insane. So nobody's moved yet. That's all I'm going to say. So because it's just not as easy as they say. But if it were, we'd all be talking from there, right? We'd all move there ourselves. Right? Every accountant would live there and be working from there. So, absolutely. But no, I thought that was strong. I thought that was a strong presentation and strong response. So,
well, thank you. Appreciate it. How was your time with us? Thank you for being here today. And how was your time with us in the Real Raw, Harry?
I enjoyed this. This was an interesting, not what I expected at all. I've actually learned some stuff from listening to you guys, and yeah, I'd love to continue the conversations with all of you. I think there'd definitely be some complementary relationships here, even with Mark from the other CPA firm. I feel like there's some conversation we could have as well. I'm sure we have overlapping areas that we don't touch, and we could probably help each other out and our clients. So great stuff.
Yeah, and let me.
I think you did a great job, Sean Callaghan. If Puerto Rico doesn't work out, people can always come to Costa Rica.
What the heck?
Guess who's here?
This is my co-host, Bella Verita, that's supposed to be on vacation in Costa Rica, appearing from the jungle. So Bella, welcome to the party. Did you hear that, the whole dynamic?
I did hear the whole dynamic. So I thought I'd pop in because Costa Rica is given a lot of like incentives to come to Costa Rica, and you can hang with the monkeys in the jungle and stuff.
All right. Well, I'm happy that you're hanging with the monkeys in the jungle. This is the one and only influence source, Bella Verita, who was in fact the #1 business broker in the state of Nevada, first woman to ever be #1 business broker there, and did it at the age of 24. So Bella, but that was like what, 50 years ago, Bella?
Oh my gosh, you're in trouble, Sean. You're in trouble, Sean.
Whoa, Sean.
I think he just said I look old. Did you guys hear that?
He didn't say that, but he
Thank
said
you
it.
all very much.
No, I was complimenting you because you look 28 and you look wonderful for somebody that's 70. No, I'm teasing. Bella, it's amazing to feel your energy here. Just like get to see these amazing folks as we wrap up. So again, Harry, thank you for that. Jack, awesome scenario. I love the push because even in each round you push back more and more. Beautiful job. How was your time on the real world with us today, Jack?
Thanks. I loved it. I had no expectations other than getting to meet you wonderful people and see what this is about. And glad I got thrown right into it and learned a little bit too.
And if I could say this, I know we're running long on time. And again, guys, my apologies for being late today. There was some really serious things that we're handling. I know that you are as well. So that doesn't mean my time is more important. And I really appreciate your patience getting started late today. I've had a series of unique experiences in my life. I own a 125-person law firm, offices in 5 states. I've had the privilege of stages all over the world, but something that has been, hello?
You're good.
Okay, Nicole, can you put down?
On it.
You guys hear me?
I didn't get that. Could
We
you
hear
try
you, Sean.
again?
You're here. Mhm. Bella Verita.
Yes, I'm here. My Costa Rica internet is stable. I don't know what's happening with Sean in Long Beach Island.
Oh, we just lost you, Sean. Hold.
I think his like computer must be muted
Like-
or something. Oh my
Oh
god!
my God.
Like Sean Callaghan is muted. What?
I think you shut him down.
You?
Bella, your energy. It's your energy.
Just like that.
There's, now we can hear you, Sean.
I think he was saying like he's done more than 3,000 episodes. And what was that? What was he talking about, Gina?
Wow, we have had more than over 3,000 incredible influential leaders like everyone here today on the show since April of last year, since COVID hit, right? And hundreds and hundreds of episodes, Bella, well over 500, I believe 6 by now. And yes, so.
And it's always an
Bella
honor and a
Verita.
privilege to have, such amazing people. And I did tune in today because we had some free time today. So I got to tune in and everybody did an absolutely phenomenal job. And, when I was in, is he back?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know what is happening. I could hear every word you're saying. Nothing from our end. Okay. So, finally, what I was saying before, and we kept getting cut off, was that we had the unique privilege of working with a number of different evaluation experts and who also happen to be CPAs. And we have the largest jury verdict of the last decade in Arizona. It was one of our 2 top 100 national jury verdicts. And the differential in thinking, innovation, creation is often, it's not even linear, it's not exponential, it can be infinite. So in that case, we interviewed 8 different firms that couldn't come up with a damage theory in our case, which meant that we spent 5 years in litigation. My client's company had been stolen and we had been at a zero place. And we finally found somebody who was innovative. We were able to make new federal law in that process and came up with a $27 million jury verdict when the first 7 firms that we talked to said, you're going to be lucky to find $1 million in damages. Why do I share that? I share that because it's the same in our marketing. our selling, our recruiting, our fundraising, our managing, our leading, there's these exponential differences that are so hard to recognize between similarly situated, intelligent, charismatic, nice, fun, wonderful people in all these different settings and scenarios in business. And that's what we're playing with and unpacking here. And again, I am super appreciative, for all you guys being here. And Ian, how was your time with us?
There you go. There you go. My time was, you there? Hello.
Yes.
Yes. My time was great. This is very impressive. This is everybody's reaction, both, I don't know. This is amazing.
So Ian, can I ask you an honest question now? Can I ask you an honest question?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think it got worse when Bella came on or no?
It was great when she came on. It got worse when you made your joke about 50 years.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you. Let's be clear on who disrupted the vibration.
Yes. So Ian, so here's my question though. Do you realize that Bella just dropped in because now she gets residuals on this episode because she made a 3-minute appearance? Like, can you guys help me find one of your lawyer buddies? I am a lawyer, but I need a lawyer, man, because I think that's not cool that she's dropping in to grab a residual check. You get that, Ian?
I got it. Got it. Hey, I have no motivation to say what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Mark, thank you for being a contestant, for going out there, putting yourself on the hot seat as you did. How was your time with us?
Oh, it was wonderful. Anytime you can get yourself out of your comfort zone and do something like this, it's just a great learning experience. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no, wonderful. What a great, Bella, all kidding aside, and by the way, Bella is extraordinary. Bella is the straw that stirs the drink of this show. Gina and I just worked for her. She is an absolute straight up rock star. She spoke just a month ago with Lee Steinberg, who's the actual Jerry Maguire, at a charitable fundraiser in Las Vegas, and just creating massive impact in the world. And Bella, Gina is of course amazing. Your energy and our amazing trio dynamic here has been sorely missed this week, and it was super fun to have you dropping in and being with us. So thank you for that. And Job, Job, how was your time with us today on the Real Raw?
No, thank you, Sean, for asking. I think it definitely, more than the time that I spent on the show, I think the time spent, in preparing for the show, I think, made me re-examine some of the things. So, for example, I'm not a big fan of role play. I do what I do. I don't think in the direct interaction, I think I'm, fairly extroverted, but I don't like role plays in general. So it was for me out of my comfort zone to create a scenario and then role play it, even if it's something that I do on a daily basis. The scenario that I do is on a daily basis. I think the preparation for this, coming on to this show, I think. Was a good, was a good exercise, in kind of, I would say, personal development.
Well, thank you for that, Joe.
That fear, that I have.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. You did a wonderful job. And if I may share this from my heart, we go through, and I mentioned a little bit of fun energy, having gone to Columbia undergrad, Ivy League school, law school honors grad. None of those places, or high school or grammar school, it all touches on the reality that the differential in the capacity to create influence in the world creates such levels of extraordinary differences in how we create outcomes and results. And it's just not present. We take English for years and years and years, and creative writing for years and years and years. And then we walk around the world, and the ability, when we find leadership that causes outcomes, when we have distinctions that integrally make sense in the space of marketing, getting our message out there, the differentials are just absolutely mind-blowing. And we could tell stories all day long. We won't. We're going to pause here of where that comes in on every platform you could possibly think of, on charitable fundraisers, and the unique distinctions that we have created and people that are that we work with have created. We have the American Foundation for the Blind Gala coming up in a little less than a month that we're co-hosting. I happen to be blind. I'm on the board nationally. We're opening Helen Keller's time capsule. It's the 100th anniversary of the AFB, and where the AFB was before we began this march forward was there was a very nice night. It was going to be beautiful. It was going to be, honorable and terrific. And in a span of a few weeks, we put together Hall of Fame athletes, Lee Steinberg, we're sourcing A-list rock music act. And all of these things are coming together just with a different level of influence and people with the right skill set. So what this work stands for is that we could be leaders that cause leaders to come together to do things that equal a 1 + 1 that equals so much more than 2, 10, 50, 100, a million, a billion, a trillion even in impact and value to make the world a greater place. So Job, Mark, Ian, Harry, I could not be Jack, Ian, Mark, Harry, Job. I could not be more thankful for all the things that you did today to be here, because we're looking to cause leadership, create not just connections, not networking, but true mutual integrous value adds with each other. So thank you for all that. And Bella Verita from Costa Rica, any final?
Final is influence is a superpower no matter where in the world that you go. And, as I'm traveling throughout Costa Rica and just remembering, what this work is all about, and just in conversations and having different conversations. And, I just really appreciate, you bringing this superpower to the forefront and everything that you have taught us. Because I remember, when I saw, and you may have mentioned this earlier, but when Tony Robbins, said that there's no one that leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callaghan, it is absolutely true and always true. And you lead this an incredible team with this amazing mission. So I'm just excited that all these new people got an opportunity to take a glance into it.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, beautiful job. Gina, thank you for everything you're doing. You're doing triple duty this week as Bella is taking a certainly appreciated rest, pause, and hanging with the monkeys and sweat lodging and doing all kinds of Costa Rica adventures. So beautiful stuff. So Gina, thank you. And for everybody, again, thank you for being here. We put a gift in the chat, which is what this formula is. It's how we go forward. It's how we roll. And there's nothing like it in the space of influence. And this is not a sales training. It's not a leadership training. It's that plus what to do with it and how to get yourself to use it, because our primal brain, our fear of rejection, our fear of failure keeps us so often from confronting in healthy, authentic ways the challenges and the things that are going to cause the acceleration everybody wants, but everybody's scared. We don't want to be rejected. We don't want to fail. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for facing your fears and stepping forward, sharing your hearts, sharing your being, all of those things. Because at the end of the day, truly, everything we want is right there. But the challenge is, Bella and Gina, we're all blind.
Just learning to see. Bella's muted. Bella.
I cut out for a second. And just we're looking to see it, all the things.
All right. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.